Have you ever stopped yourself from doing something you really wanted to do just because you were afraid of what other people might think? Have you ever held back from speaking your mind, wearing that outfit, starting that project, or even just being yourself because you worried about being judged? Yeah, me too, a lot. And let me tell you, it's exhausting. For way too long, I let the fear of other people's opinions control me. I shaped my choices around what would make me look acceptable, successful, or even likable. But the reality is, most people aren't thinking about us nearly as much as we think they are. And even if they are, why should we let that stop us from living our lives? So today, I want to talk about how I'm learning to break free from that mindset, how I'm slowly, day by day, giving myself permission to live for me, not for someone else's approval. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Clay Johnson, and today we're talking about something that, if I'm being honest, has shaped way too many of my decisions over the years. Growing up in a small conservative town where everyone knew each other and everyone knew each other's business, I learned pretty early that people had a lot of opinions about how you should act, what you should believe, and even who you should be. And for a long time, I let those expectations shape me. I became really good at fitting in, at keeping people happy, and trying my best to avoid judgment. But at what cost? The cost was my authenticity. The cost was my peace of mind. The cost was constantly overanalyzing every move I made, wondering if it was being too much or not enough. And let me tell you, that's completely exhausting. It wasn't until I moved abroad and started living in places like Belgium and Malaysia that I began to see how just limiting that mindset was. Suddenly, I was in spaces where people didn't know my background, my history, or the expectations I had been carrying. And you know what? It was liberating. It forced me to ask, who am I when no one else's opinions are shaping me? But let me be real. Just because I became aware of the problem doesn't mean I magically stopped caring what other people thought. It's still something I have to manage. And today, I want to share some of the things that have helped me quiet that inner voice and self-doubt and stop letting the fear of judgment hold me back. One of the biggest shifts for me was realizing that people aren't thinking about me nearly as much as I think they are. We all live in our own little worlds, caught up in our own insecurities and worries. That embarrassing thing you did 5 years ago, that keeps playing in your head, no one else remembers it. And even if they do, so what? People move on, and so should we. Another thing that's helped me is asking myself, whose opinion actually matters? Not every voice deserves a seat at the table in my mind. I started focusing on the people who truly know me, who love me, and who want the best for me. If they support me, then why should I let the judgment of a stranger or even a casual acquaintance carry so much weight? I also started learning into the idea that discomfort is a sign of growth, which I've mentioned in other episodes. If I'm feeling nervous about expressing myself, trying something new, or showing up as my true self, maybe that's exactly what I needed to be doing. The more I challenge that fear, the weaker it gets. And here's the big one. I remind myself that people who judge me are often dealing with their own fears and insecurities. People project. If someone has something negative to say about me, it usually has more to do with them than it does with me. That realization has helped me detach from the fear of criticism. I also remind myself of this. I only get one life. And at the end of it, I don't want to look back and realize I played it safe just to avoid judgment. I want to know that I lived fully and that I took risks. I embraced who I am without apology. And I hope you do too. It's also helped to put things in perspective. Think about the people you admire. The ones who inspire you, who live boldly, who create, who make a difference. Do you think they got where they are by constantly worrying about what other people thought? No. They stepped into their truth, took risks, and embraced the fact that not everyone would like them. But they did it anyway, because living authentically is more important than playing it safe. I also started practicing small acts of self-expression to push myself out of my comfort zone. It started with little things, sharing my opinions even when I was nervous about what others may say, or simply saying no when something didn't align with what I truly wanted. And with each small step, I built more confidence to live on my terms. And you know what? The more I showed up as myself, the more I attracted the right people into my life. The ones who see me, who value me, and who accept me exactly as I am. Because when we hide parts of ourselves to please others, we end up surrounded by people who only like the version of us that we're pretending to be. But when we let go of that and embrace who we are, we make space for real, meaningful connections. So, If you've been holding back, afraid of what others may think, let this be your sign to let go. Show up, be yourself, and trust that people who matter will love you for it. Thanks for tuning in today. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you struggled with worrying about what others think? How have you managed it? Send me a message. Let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, keep growing, keep showing up, and keep living your life.